Welcome, everyone, to American Girls, the podcast where we're reliving the American Girls series, book by book. I'm Mary.
And I am still Allison.
Hey, Allison. How are you?
I'm here. We are in the world. It's hard to expand beyond that. I know this is not terribly thrilling audio content, but
it's honest, and I feel that way, too. I mean, we're living through such really serious and sad times. First of all, months into this pandemic and how stressful and difficult that can be, and then seeing so much racially motivated violence in our country and very really inspiring rebellion, but also just, it's very hard to sit with all of this and to watch a lot of this.
We've spent, the past few months together and in the kind of longer arc of this, thinking about the power of stories and the power of actions that people take and kind of how you see yourself in history. And I think a lot of people now feel acutely aware of where are you relative to the story that's going to be told about this period of your life, right? Like when people look back on 2020, how are you going to think about what your story was from this time? And I think more than ever, I am so tremendously humbled and grateful that people reached out to us, that people were willing to engage in the syllabus project that we did. I think there are amazingly valuable resources that people have pointed us to on anti-racism and education. And I think part of what's hard about sitting in front of a mic right now is we're trying to listen and not take up as much space, but we also understand that being part of the wider world, we are able to speak to people. So what is it that we have to say or want to say? And part of that is to look at the content that other people are making, or to think about, if Addie's story motivated you in some way to think about race, now that we're not 9 years old, there's so much more to learn.
Exactly, yeah. And I think in the past couple of days, in light of the murder of George Floyd and others, thinking with the syllabus and thinking with the resources and tools that Black activists in particular are sharing online that we'll be amplifying on our social media, both the shows and our personal ones. I think it's really important to just really center those voices and listen and try to pick up and learn what you can.
Something that we shared and that I think is helpful. So if you are a listener who is feeling like you're trying to learn or you're trying to figure things out, part of the value of exploring your path through the world right now, if you are not Black, is thinking about hours you can spend that you're not taxing other people to explain things to you. So doing your own homework on Ahmaud Arbery, doing your own homework on Breonna Taylor and kind of what that might mean for you is very valuable. And again, just saying a very sincere thank you to Black intellectuals who reached out to us and added to the syllabus, because that's labor that is tremendously undervalued by society, and we value it very much.
We do. And also, as you're saying, we also acknowledge that it's not the job of Black activists to educate white people about race. That is not their job. That's our job. And so we really do appreciate the extension of that labor. And as you're saying, we're going to take the ball and run with it and try to really educate ourselves. We did learn some sad news last night about a location near and dear to this show. Allison, if you want to share that.
Yeah, if you listened a few episodes back, we had the honor of interviewing Vera from the historic Stagville site in North Carolina, and part of their property was destroyed this week in a fire. And it's very important to us that we thank with our pockets as well as our mouths, people who have been very good to the show and to our audience. So we're encouraging people to visit their website. Again, that's Historic Stagville, where you can make a donation through PayPal and you can support some of their recovery efforts. Part of why we think this is valuable for our listeners to know and important to amplify is a lot of their work is focused on centering and making additional space for the underexplored stories of both enslaved people, free people who lived on the plantation and Black descendants of that site. And so to enable them to continue to do that work, which I think is an important act of resistance right now. A lot of things are being set on fire, some of which we have other opinions about, but we think this is an incredibly important space that should get support. So you just visit their website to find their PayPal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So thanks for sharing that important resource. And, we encourage you to support it if you're able. We'll certainly be doing the same. Yeah. So it's a difficult time. And I think it's just important to acknowledge how difficult it is, how necessary these rebellions are. And, just to be kind to yourself as we move through these days when there's seemingly so many stressors just on your everyday life that can make even just moving through your day more difficult than maybe it has been even in the past couple of months.
And we're in sort of this interesting position where, we always say, don't date the show, but the reality is, I think if you've listened to us for a while, you can always pretty much know when we've taped or when we're talking because we think context is really valuable. And the conversation that you're going to hear for the rest of this episode occurred, I think, at least a month ago. And part of why that's important for us to share with you is we had a conversation with the author and podcaster Caroline Moss about shopping, and particularly the American Girl catalog. And the fact that we recorded this over a month ago, we are not suggesting at all that the United States was a racial utopia a month ago, but the world was different in a variety of ways. And I think a kind of through line between this conversation and that conversation is the way that you imagine yourself as a consumer in the world or as a person with power to affect change modifies over the course of your life, right? Like you evolve, like you started to understand yourself in a certain way through something like the American Girl catalog. Right now, we're encouraging people who are able to give and to bolster causes that they can financially. They're actually not as disparate of topics as you might think, but we do also recognize that this conversation is very different.
Right, definitely. And, I guess I wasn't planning enough in my head because on the last episode, I was like, yeah, this is the last episode I'll record before I get married, which is not true. Just in fairness or full disclosure, we're recording today on June 2nd. And we had this conversation a month ago with Caroline, and we do thank her very much for giving us her time. And obviously she's someone who's very aware of social realities. I was aware of her book, Hey Ladies, which is very funny, but also a lot of you brought her to our attention because she tweeted about the ideal pandemic American Girl. So she kind of is living out in many ways the juxtaposition that we have going on this episode of kind of putting this in context, which is taking something really serious like the pandemic and in some ways using American Girl to understand it, which is in a lot of ways what we're trying to do on this show.
You're also going to hear some sobering advice from a former Beanie Baby enthusiast about investing in the stock market.
That kind of hit me where I live because I was never into Beanie Babies, but we have a very dear friend named Tanya who was, and basically Tanya still speaks about the Princess Diana beanie as like a retirement piece. And what we've learned on this episode is like, maybe, I know things only have the meaning we invest, but I mean, basically I remember people talking about that Beanie Baby like, you could retire on that. And what I learned on this episode is like, maybe that's not true anymore.
I think that's not true, but I also think that we stand by our previous declaration that the stock market is the horoscope for men or astrology for men.
That's
but
correct.
I think that's actually really mean to astrology.
I agree. I really agree with that. So, I mean, I guess as like a public apology, we're going to apologize to astrologists for, perhaps demeaning their work by comparing it to something as low grade as economics.
Also, one of our beloved listeners, Lindsay, actually was recently sharing some of her, Beanie Baby content with us. And I wrote back to her and I said, honestly, like we think of Beanie Babies as the joke, but like capitalism is the joke. She agreed.
Oof. Yeah, ain't that the truth? I mean, yeah, that's really true. That is really, really true. I remember on TikTok, I know you've deleted it off your phone now, but I have yet to do that. I basically wake up and look at TikTok. It brings me joy still. And I saw, except for this video I saw this morning, when I looked at TikTok, I don't know why it's showing me this. And it's literally like a 20-year-old bro being like, here's how you get your like Merrill Lynch, investment internship. And I was like, why? But why do you think I want that?
No, nobody needs this. I will say too, like if this is a particularly hard time for you, and I'm not sure how it could not be, Caroline is very funny and had some really insightful and funny things to say about what it's like to wear jeans right now, which hit me.
Yes. Yes.
So,
and we should also add that she is the host of a great podcast called G Thanks Just Bought It. And where she, interviews people about much loved items that they recommend, including jeans, which she has strong opinions about. So do I. I would wear jeans every day if I could. I would wear them to my wedding. I'm not, but I thought about it. I really did.
I will support you only because I do implicitly in all things, but she said something along the lines of like, I need to wear jeans to, like feel something different during this pandemic. I was like, I know what I will feel and it's bad.
Yeah. Because you don't like jeans? You're not as into them as some?
I'm 4'11", Mary. Like, and I know you're not much more, but like jeans are not made for 4'11" women.
Well, okay, but there's things you can do about that. Like jeans are a lifestyle. That's how I really feel. And
when I cash in my Bitty Baby fortunes
oh my God.
Someday, my Bitty Baby futures, I'll have custom denim.
When I find my brother's Pogs in my parents' basement and I sell them at a handsome profit, you know what? We're going to live a lush life. I'm going to buy jeans. I'll find the perfect brand of jeans for short people. And you and I are going to live large. I mean, metaphorically speaking.
Yes. I mean, should we give the people our episode? I think they'll enjoy it.
So, I mean, we know it's a heavy time. We hope this makes you smile and think about your own catalog days. And we really hope that you play the game that we play on this episode and let us know what you choose.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Podcorn.
Podcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters to advertisers for native podcast sponsorships.
What does that actually mean? Well, for our purposes, it means that we don't have to run ads on our show for products and services we don't believe in. We take this community really seriously, so we've in an ongoing way been trying to match with products that actually meet our mission and our values and are things that we're proud to support. So Podcorn has been a really wonderful service where we've been able to log on to their site and find a bunch of advertisers who want to work with us that we're excited to work with as well.
If you're a creator and you're looking for brands that you might want to work with, Podcorn is a great option. They have a marketplace mission to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and control, and you never give up exclusive rights to your podcast. Click the link in our show notes to learn how to sign up and to learn more about Podcorn.
That's right. So just head over to podcorn.com and get started today. So Caroline, thank you so much for being here. Truly.
Thank you for having me.
We've been wanting to do an episode on the catalogs for quite some time because they're such an important piece of American Girl. And I don't know how old you are. You don't have to share that.
I'm 32. I have no shame
wonderful.
in my game.
You and Allison are both in your, what some might call Karen Carpenter year. I'm 33. I'm in my Jesus year. It's
wow.
Quite a Jesus year.
Oh, I forgot about the Jesus year. That's right. That's really fair. Great. That's what a year. Do you feel guilty at all?
I was raised Catholic, so it's kind of just in my DNA to just have a low hum of shame and guilt all
right there
the
with
time.
you. Yes.
It's just how that is. Maybe that will come out today, maybe not. I don't know. It's always there. So yeah, I mean, it's been the pandemic has really, it's like, maybe I should have gone for a Moses year. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. You must have some questions. Some things to work through for sure.
Probably, yeah. I should probably seek out a professional at some point. But today I've sought out the catalog, and everyone I know for whom American Girl was even partially important, even if like me, the dolls weren't your main draw, the catalog is such an addictive drug. Like the minute you get it in your mailbox, you can like encyclopedic knowledge of all these products, how much they cost, what you would get in what order. So we turn to you as an expert in recommending items of all kinds on your show. Wonderful show. I should say my partner listens to your show obsessively, and she's so jealous. She's in the next room. I've sequestered her there. But she's very jealous. And exciting. She's a big Forever 35 listener as well. And so this is a big day in our house. So, I get like a boost from knowing you. And so we're just so honored that you're here with us. And we want to talk about the catalog. So first, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your journey with American Girl and then the catalog.
Sure. So as I said, I'm 32 and I don't remember how old I was when I discovered the catalog, or I can tell you like there were two friends, the other Caroline in my grade and my friend Amanda, and they both got the catalog or had a doll. And I think that it was something that my mom was like, well, when she finds out about it, it'll be too late, but we're not going to be the ones that tell her. So I think I like truly this was like back of the bus knowledge probably like fourth grade, maybe third or fourth grade. Well, so let's say third grade, because for a year, so I got the catalog because the catalog was free, obviously. And then I think for a birthday, someone gave me a subscription to American Girl magazine, which is different. It's the magazine. Yeah. But so for a full year, when that catalog came, like I remember just like bringing it to the kitchen table. I'm looking at it right now, like as I talk about it, and just like sitting down with it with like a pen and like checking off the things I wanted, and then like doing the math on the side of the page and being like, like what's 20 plus 80? Like, I don't know. Cause like everything is like exactly a dollar amount, but I was still like adding it up painstakingly on the next page. And just sort of thinking like, I remember there was a time when I went through a real Bitty Baby phase, and those were significantly cheaper than the dolls, though, for an 8-year-old, like $40 is like a lot of money. And definitely not something I could come into within like a month or so. So I remember looking at the Bitty Babies and being like, okay, the babies are like 42 and okay, I obviously need to get the basket that has all the things. And I would like come up with different like jobs I could do that my mom would pay me for. And I never, ever got a Bitty Baby, but I did for my, I believe, 9th birthday, I finally got an American Girl doll. I got the American Girl doll of today, which was very exciting. And it was a year after, I think it was for my birthday, but it was a year after I had changed my mind on Christmas Eve without telling anyone, said, okay, like, I just want to swap something out. Like, I want an American Girl doll. Just like, Christmas Eve, didn't mention this to my parents. Obviously, the American Girl doll wasn't there. And I remember thinking like, what the like, really like confused. I had a lot of questions. Didn't make sense to me. Like every Christmas movie you watch when you're 7, like whatever you want to happen on Christmas Eve at like 11 p.m. is like this huge miracle. So I was like, all right, I'll just go for it. I would like Molly and I want all of Molly's stuff, and Molly didn't show up. So, looking back now, very obvious as to what happened there. But I remember like that was a big deal. But I think the bigger deal for me was that for the next 6 or 7 or 8 months, I remained really, really into American Girl dolls and like fantasizing about like which ones I would buy and what I would buy. And it was a really big deal for me.
Wow.
Did you want Molly because you are Molly?
Yes, I wanted Molly. I had glasses. I still have glasses. I'm looking at the catalog now. Molly just like, so American Girl doll of today, like, I didn't really care about their stories so much, so American Girl doll of today was kind of like getting Molly because she looked like Molly because she had brown hair. And so I was like fine with not getting Molly when I got the American Girl doll today, but I wanted Molly because her story was like the least boring. I think like I will not pretend like, oh yeah, I was like super into the history, and I love learning about, like, I liked seeing what they got for their birthdays and what they did for Christmas. And that was
100%.
kind of it. So I was a real materialistic, stuck up little bee. And I was like, don't really care about Felicity. Seems sort of stuck up, like high neck dress. Kirsten, sort of boring on a boat for a long time. But like Molly had a good story. Molly had like a more relatable story. Like she listened to the radio a lot, and I knew what the radio was. And, you know, it was stuff that I was like, this isn't super foreign. Like they had a telephone in their house. And I think in 2020, you realize like, oh, like when I read this book, and I actually took it out for this episode.
Oh my gosh.
But when I took out my Molly's Surprise book, which is her Christmas book, I was trying to figure out when it was printed, and it was printed in 1986. So I was really into this like 10 years after it came out. But like 1986 and like the late 40s are not super different in terms of like what our houses looked like. Mm-hmm. So like, I think in 1986 we would have been like, oh, it's very different. But now knowing what we have now, and everyone has an iPhone, and like there was something super relatable about Molly that I liked as like a kid in the 90s. I think it reminded me of like pictures I had seen of my mother, and it reminded me of like my grandmother's house or whatever. But everyone else I found super boring. So I was like, I'm only into like the cool stories. Anyone who can talk on the phone is my friend.
I'm 100% with you as a Babysitter Club reader. Like the fact that What's Her Name had a dedicated phone line, I was like, if only. Like, I'd love to hop on a call, chat about nothing for a long time. This is another difference between Allison and I. It's like nightmare for Allison to do that. Like, don't call her on the phone. It's not going to happen, even if it's me. Although we do talk sometimes, but I think there's a really interesting juxtaposition in what you're saying about your relationship to American Girl in terms of like buying things or like trying to interact with the stuff of it. That with Santa, there is this trend of like, guess what's in my head? Like that's what you're trained to believe. Like you don't have to communicate anything to Santa. He knows. Like he could be the founder of the surveillance state. Really hard to say.
Right. Or like maybe you met him in the grocery store today. He was that old guy with the beard and the twinkle in his eye. Like that's Santa. Like that's all movies were telling us. So of course I was like, yeah, obviously.
He'll know what's in your head. Whereas with the catalog, I think you are more empowered to sit down and say, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of like you go directly to the source. Now, whether you get that stuff is another story entirely, because we know a lot of people for whom the catalog was like the end of the road and in some ways was enough. It's just like the fantasy of the stuff is enough. You don't actually need it.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know where you fall on that.
It's funny. Like I'm looking at the catalog right now. I'm looking at the Bitty Baby page, and I'm just trying to remember that mindset of like, I wasn't even a doll kid growing up. I didn't even like dolls, which is, I think, what my parents like still kind of make fun of me about now. Like, I was just so taken by the trend that I was like, I have to have this stuff. Like, I had no desire to play with it. It was more, and I look at these pictures now and remember like how long I wanted it. For like how much I wanted it for how long I wanted it. Like this went on for a really long time. I wonder if I talked to my mom and I'm like, hey, how long was I obsessed with American Girl dolls? She'd be like 2.5 months. But like for me, it was definitely a full year. It just seemed like this was a thing that I like did not stop thinking about for like a long time. And so the acquiring of this stuff was not really so much about the stuff. It was about being able to, I think, participate in that sort of like social thing that had just sort of landed, you know, in the backyard of elementary school. And like you look everywhere and all of a sudden everyone has an $82 doll, especially where I grew up, which I grew up in like a very kind of upper middle class New York City suburb. And it was just like, it was not weird for a birthday to come along and for a kid to get the doll plus like 2 books worth of stuff. And I think my parents hated it for that reason. But I think I was just like, I want to buy something that's so expensive. Like I want to own something this expensive. Like that would feel really life-changing to me. I know better like, now. Or I think
I was going to say that feels like a really Leo vibe, Leo energy that you're bringing. But
I'm a Sagittarius, similar. But Leo rising... So you're kind of on it. Leo, apparently your rising is whatever you present to people that you don't know very well. So I feel like you just got me on that.
Fair enough. Sure. So of all the trends, all the things you could get from the 90s, I'm coming at you with Tamagotchi, pods,
Did it all.
Polly Pockets.
No,
what
didn't
is
know
the
that
trend that you most actually loved leaning into, and the one that you most regret, like having anyone spend money on your behalf?
I regret people buying me American Girl doll stuff. I regret that. I regret that because I wish I had just learned a lesson earlier in life that was just like, buying this. I mean, it's like, what the lesson? Like, buying this thing won't make you happy. I know better now as someone who spends their own money on stuff, because the things that I buy, I actually have confirmed it makes me happy, in addition to being a person who who participates in other aspects of life to find fulfillment. Like, the things that I spend my money on now, it's like, I'm not buying like a $40 thing, especially in my 30s, just because my friend has it and like she says it's great. And I'm not like, I don't need one, but like, I bet if I get it, like something will feel different internally. Mm-hmm. I truly had a ton of fun with Beanie Babies. Like, Beanie Babies, I like loved collecting them. I loved pretending that by this year I would be like a millionaire because I had all the rare ones. And also they were just inexpensive enough that I feel like it would justify, a Christmas present or it being in the stocking or a birthday present from a friend or a grandparent. But I think about the ratio of how much I obsessed and how much I begged and how much I whined for American Girl doll stuff against how much I actually played with it and enjoyed it. And it wasn't just like, oh, I got this dress. Okay, what else do I need? Like, I need to get this. I need to get that. So my regret is that I didn't just like find joy in playing and having fun with the doll. And instead it became like, well, now I only have one American Girl doll and like the other Caroline has all of them. And that, now it's like not good enough. So I think it reminds me of a time when you're just like so young and you don't know yet that like buying a thing isn't going to change anything about you. And so the things that you end up asking for or spending your money on aren't even things that make you happy. They're just things that you assume are going to like change your life. So I know that's a roundabout answer, and I know this is an American Girl doll podcast. I mean, American Girl for sure like gives me a feeling that like looking at a picture of a Beanie Baby does not. I think it really like meant something to me, and I've carried that like part of nostalgia with me into the rest of my life. Like, it's very specific.
I respect what you're saying though, because I think a lot of it for me was not so much about the material culture of it per se, like you're saying, having this stuff, but kind of for me, it was a gateway drug in a way it wasn't for you, to history and storytelling that has become really important to my life in a way that has nothing to do with American Girl. But, this is kind of the origin point or gateway drug that got me there. So this stuff can kind of remind you of it. Totally. But yeah, I get it. I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good lesson to learn that like things can't make you happy, but seemingly like we keep getting movies that make that point. So I guess it hasn't like landed yet, or
right.
people want to hear this idea over and over again.
It's just so funny. I'm looking at the baby page now and I'm just remembering that specific feeling of like, this will be great. Like this will change me.
So maybe the stuff wasn't life-changing for you, but we did ask you to prepare to play
I'm ready.
A game with us, and we hope this will be life-changing.
This is good. I hope so.
We first want to give a major shout out to whoever Lily Maiden is. I don't know you, but you've created a Flickr account in which you've scanned entire catalogs from the 90s from American Girl, and we will make this link available. This person should be given an award by the Library of Congress. Gavel.
Love her.
I don't know you, ma'am, but we love you. Thank you for your service.
Amazing.
And so what we tasked you to do, Allison, do you want to go over the ground rules of what we're doing?
Oh, sure. There are not many. I will just also add, we did not scan these ourselves because for scale, look at how much bigger this magazine is than my head.
Hold it up. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
It's 2 Allison heads. I mean, like
2. At least 2.
We're not big people, but like if you remember these being larger than life, it's because they were. Like they're actually like
they were huge,
enormous. Yeah,
yeah.
I like to imagine that it was like, parents, you can't hide this from your child.
No.
They will see it as young as for sure.
So we had a few different challenges for you. One of which was both easier and harder than I thought it would be, and kind of going back and looking at prices because, inflation, stagflation, like the world has and has not changed. We first wanted to ask you to spend $100 arbitrarily in the winter of 1995 catalog. This was before any of us sweet angels knew about the Olympics.
Yeah,
right?
Didn't know about the Olympics.
We didn't know about the 96 Olympics. We didn't have Beyonce yet. So the world was just very different, and we've handed you $100.
This is all we had.
It's all we knew.
Yeah,
it's all we knew.
We've all been handed $100 in this holiday 1995 catalog. Shop till you drop, or you spend $100. Yeah. Where did you take this cash in this catalog?
So I knew exactly where I was going, and it was like I was here to honor my 8-year-old self. I looked through it at first being like, oh, what I think would be cool or like what, but I wanted to put myself back in the mindset of like me being 8, which was like, you know, just kind of incredible time. I wanted so badly Molly's school desk and her school bag and supplies. So the school desk, though, $65. And when you have $100 to spend, that like cuts into kind of a chunk. Mm-hmm. And so I almost ditched the school desk and just kept, because I loved her messenger bag. And she had this little notebook that had like one of those plastic pencil cases that like go in the whole, you know, and there's a report card and like very cool. And I think at the time, like also, yes, we didn't have the Olympics and we didn't, you know, have Beyonce, but we also didn't have the internet. So it's not like we could go on Pinterest and like, be like, hey, you could just take a file card and like make a report card. Like, why are you spending $15 on this? And our parents, I mean, my mom's not super crafty and neither is my dad. And it's not like my parents were like, oh, I'll just Google like how to like, I don't know, or, you know, or like we didn't have Amazon. Like, oh, you can actually just buy this like messenger bag for a doll for like $8. You know what I mean? Like it was like at the time, different it's like, this is the only messenger bag for a doll that exists. I have to have it. It's $25. I will mow the lawn. And my mom's like, you're not mowing the lawn. I'd be like, I will do something else. And then that's all I wanted. So I picked the school desk and the school bag and supplies. And you can't have one without the other, I fear. And so I went with both, putting us at $85. Then there's only $15 left. And then I got sort of nervous because I remembered the other Molly outfit that I always wanted to buy, which was her raincoat and her hat from Molly's Surprise and her little boots. I also had someone gave me an American Girl doll bathrobe, like a fleece bathrobe that is the exact, probably from like 8th or 9th birthday, that is the exact like fabric of the Molly Goes to Camp, like her bunk bed thing situation. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that picture, when I looked through this catalog, it like I could like feel that bathrobe on me. So with $15 left, assuming shipping is not a part of the $100 that I would have to spend, I went with the umbrella and rain boots, which is $14, and I have $1 left over.
Wow.
And
you went on a living spree.
I really went on I was just like, and I really thought about it too. I really was like, I don't know. But I tried to say like, okay, what's the umbrella seems like luxe to me. So the fact that it would be $14 with a pair of rain boots feels like I'm just stealing it. And I just really feel like you can't have the desk without the supplies and vice versa. So I thought, you know, if that's a package, I have to get it.
I agree.
What did you guys pick?
Allison, do you want to go first?
I feel like I'm flexing too hard, but I had the book bag. That was one of the...
What?
And it's kind of like as good as you think it is. Or
really?
Was. Yeah, it really was. I'll send you a picture.
That makes me really happy. I'm glad I had good taste as a child.
It was good.
I mean, really.
It's interesting when you were talking because where I grew up in, like we're from New England, we used to go to New Hampshire all the time, which is sort of like the king state of like knockoff things for dolls. I'm kind of more into doll culture. So there were entire cottage industries of women who did exactly what you're saying, which is they made exact copies of this stuff at like a third of the price, or they sold patterns. So my mom would buy the patterns or she would copy stuff that we saw at the stores. So Molly's like school bag was like a rare, like I had the real one.
Wow.
Because
that's really special.
It was cool, yeah. And like, I'm really like, I feel like I'm bragging about a really weird thing. It's like exactly as good as you think it was.
Yeah,
I added to the report card because I was like, okay, it's a new quarter. So you could write in. And when Molly would go to school, I would like add in little entries, like if she was doing well or not. Cause like, you know, she's plucky.
Wow.
So depending on your latitude, I made 2 different schemes. One of which is if I'm allowed to go over by $1, but I'll tell you why it works. So I'm buying the $65 bunk bed for the modern American Girls because that was my dream, to own the modern style with like the bright colors, because it looks like a Full House bed.
Yes,
like, it looks like the bed.
It looked like the
Full House.
Do you have a page number? Right. Let me get in there.
I'm going to have to pull up page numbers. So if you go all the way down to the section, and we'll post links to this for listeners, that's like the modern-ish American Girl where everything is kind of like purple. It's like the
66, right?
Thank you.
Page 66. Like the very dynamic, very modern looking. So
very like Saved by the Bell.
Totally. Yes. I was just going to say Saved by the Bell. Yes. Big time.
And here's why my scheme works. Because I also want the Felicity Christmas gown and stomacher, because I think it's the classiest outfit in this entire catalog. But then, because I'm thinking futures, I also want the $14 Saint Lucia wreath for Kirsten. So, like, quick math, I go over by $1. But here's why it's not a problem. When I get the bunk bed, which is $65, I get 10 grin pins because I'm participating in the Modern American Girl program. I sell those grin pins for $1 a piece to my friends. Now I'm actually $9 ahead. So
wow.
I'm also buying the St. Lucia wreath for Kirsten. When we covered Kirsten episodes, like, you know, there are great panics in American history. We kind of caused like a panic run on Kirsten content on eBay. Like, we talked about buying Kirsten stuff and people were like, you can't get it now. Like, it's not on eBay. It's not on Etsy. Like, people our age who have money are like, screw it. I'm spending the $50. I'm buying it. So this is like a futures investment. It was $14 in 1995. You can spend a cool $50 on that now.
Oh, wow.
So it's like your retirement plan is what you're saying.
This is like what we thought Beanie Babies were going to be.
I was going to say, was this like your Princess Di Beanie Baby?
Yeah.
I had that one. But,
I did, for sure.
Wow.
Actually, do you want to hear a really quick story? Okay, so my mom took me and all my friends to see 101 Dalmatians for my 9th birthday in the theaters. And as a goodie bag, she, instead of candy or anything, she got everybody the Dalmatian Beanie Baby. And she took the tags off of all of them because she didn't want to like give the price tag on the goodie bag. And I burst into tears. And one of my friends like hit my mom on the shoulder and was like, "Good going, Mrs. Moss." like real like sitcom. Yeah. And my mom still like rolls her eyes at me about that to that day. But yes, I think that's kind of, I think the Beanie Baby thing is like, everyone had so many because everyone was like, I'm going to sell them when they're like really rare, but like they became rare when they were still totally in production, which is like not a thing. So I feel like with American Girl doll, I think people just don't realize that it's not about Beanie Baby specifically being rare. It's about like good stuff from another era in good condition is hard to come by, but you have to wait for like 30 years to figure out what is actually rare, rather than like announcing when a Princess Di Beanie Baby comes out that it's rare and still producing like as many of them as the others. So, I mean, who in this world doesn't have like an incredibly good, incredible condition Princess Diana? Because they told us to keep it in good condition. Right. That's why everyone, I mean, like there's no demand because the supply is too high. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. But like, that makes sense to me that on eBay, all these like accessories would be going for a lot more than $14. I mean, inflation aside.
Totally with you. So it makes sense, and it's on character that Allison's picks would be very thoughtful and future oriented, and mine are purely emotion based and come from a deep state of panic for my life right now. So what I'm choosing to get, my grand total came in at $99.90. I'm getting Felicity's guitar, purely just because I want it. I always wanted that.
That
Never
is cool.
got it. I think it's rad. I play guitar not well, but I would just like to have it, look at it, and then probably lose interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
I want the American Girl, like real person sized Molly sweater, which is on,
That's cool.
I don't know what page that is, 58. And that's going to set me back $36. But just know, I am practically the size of a 12-year-old girl, like height wise. So I feel like I could pull this off and possibly wear this to work / out and about.
Okay.
Like, so I'm just throwing that out there, and I'll buy my own beret. I'm not paying $10 for the American Girl beret.
Sure. That's fair. No, that you have to have a boundary.
Side.
You have to have a boundary for sure.
Thank you. That's my like boundary point. My safe word with this catalog is beret. And my next move is really going to take me to the Girl of Today section, because that was actually my favorite section of the catalog.
Really?
Yeah, I really loved that, because I was like, okay, first of all, let me just point out 3 things in this catalog I find strange and thought-provoking and might haunt my dreams later today. One, this is not in the new girl section. There is an item in Felicity's section called Plantation Play. Just going to pause on that. In 1995... American Girl was totally cool calling an item Plantation Play, and it's items that she would have played with on her grandfather's plantation.
OMG. I'm looking at it right now. Whoa.
So that's on page 10.
Oh, boy.
So that's just something I paused on. Second point, she's just like you. You're a part of history too. The Girl Who Looks Like Me doll section, which is on page 64. This to me now as an adult, like the eugenics jump out, but at the time it's like, I guess this made sense. I remember being like so drawn in by this, like, whoa, I could get a doll that looks like me. I don't know why.
No, me too. Like, it doesn't look like you.
It doesn't look like me.
It doesn't look like anybody. It looks like a Nazi.
It's just like there's something going on here that's just like wild to me. And now here's the one that's going to probably offend you. And like, I understand if you need to take a beat on this. I find Bitty Baby to be somewhat off-putting and alarming. And they kind of play into this, like my fears about Bitty Baby in this catalog, because there's images of like real babies with bitty babies. I'm trying to find the page that like made me do a double take, because it's like an actual baby looking at a bitty baby, and I was like, which one's for sale? Like,
it's like that Batman meme where they're both looking at each
and you're
other.
You're like, what's happening
here?
Babies are in the 70s, but I don't see a real baby. I just see biddies in the
maybe it's in the other. Maybe it's in the other one.
So the other one, the Bitty Baby content was exceptionally strange. 1992.
Yes. I picked that one.
They're different.
So just to circle back and finish off my list, I'm also getting Molly's Craft book, which is $5.95, because listen, we're all at home. I'm practically a mommy blogger without children.
Yeah.
At this point, I will try any craft, I guess. I don't really know. I really, really want the AG team jacket that's on page, hold on.
I think I had it. I think I owned it. I think I own the one for
you
the
did?
adult. I honestly think I did, because I look at that and I'm like, I remember the sensation of wearing it. The other thing is I could have not had it, and I could have truly just fantasized about it so much that I convinced myself.
Okay, that's where I'm at with it. Okay. I don't think I ever owned this, because I feel like I would have remembered this.
Right.
I think I just wanted it that badly and it never happened.
It honestly could be.
But here's the thing. I'm going to pause on that, because I feel like that costs like $68, and that would blow my whole budget. I wasn't really willing to go there. Instead, I'm going to buy myself the Invest, which is going to set me back $28.
Okay.
And it's a kind of weird, some might say lesbianic vest for, that has like a plaid motif. You can wear your grin pins on it. I feel like I can pull off a vest. Like, I wear vests in my day-to-day life. I wear saddle shoes. Like, I'm sort of Molly grown up is my aesthetic. Molly with different life choices is sort of like my oeuvre. So I feel like the vest could work for me. And I put the jacket on sort of like a layaway plan, or I do what I once read Justin Timberlake did. I read once, I don't know if this is true, Justin Timberlake, I think it was an interview with him, was trying to flex about how much money he had. So he brought the interviewer with him to his home, and he was like, you see that painting on the wall? And the interviewer's like, it's a painting. I don't know. He's like, do you know who that's by? And the guy was like, again, not sure. And he's like, it's some artist. He was like, yeah. My friend and I both went 50-50 on this painting. So it spends a week on my wall and then I take it to his house for a week.
Somehow this seems very in character.
I was like, this story is not telling the story you think it's telling. It's 100% on brand.
Yeah.
We're doing our Patreon episode this month on Open Book by Jessica Simpson, which also has some revealing anecdotes about him.
I did that. I listened to it on Audible and I loved it. It was
Me
so
too.
good.
Oh my God, so good. But yeah, so maybe like I could find a friend to go halvesies with me on the jacket. That's the dream.
Or one arm is yours and you just kind of like tuck in with your pal.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, would be cute.
You know, sometimes Allison and I say we're just like two historians in a trench coat. So
I love
two
that.
historians in a team jacket.
That's
My last piece of budget is going to the books entitled simply Help, which is going to cost me $4.95.
Wait, which one?
It's called Help.
Oh yeah, Help.
71.
Yes.
It's like their advice book.
Yes. I definitely had Help. My mom just sort of thrusted a bunch of these in my face when I was 10. And
I had also Pages and Pockets was a book I had that I enjoyed, which is sort of like, it's a diary, but I could never keep a diary because I always ended up lying to it because I didn't think my life was that exciting.
Yep.
I just want to flag something. So that brings me to $99.90. But I do want to flag what I think is the strangest item in this catalog, which is the Slumber Party Kit, which I found to be truly terrifying. That's on page, what is this, 69?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay. For listeners at home, what we're looking at, the description is become a Slumber Party Pro. A nylon zip kit with a glow-in-the-dark logo holds everything you need for slumber party fun. Here's what it has. It has a brush/mirror folding thing, a toothbrush. You're like, okay, flashlight. Then you get microwave popcorn, fine. Then we get confetti soap.
Which sounds like a parent's nightmare.
Yeah, like what? Who is that for? How is that being used? Like, also, why do you need the bag to glow in the dark? Like, where are you going that you need like a flashlight and a glow in the dark bag? And you get a tip sheet on basically how to be at a sleepover, which is kind of like alarming to me on a lot of levels where it's like, I just wonder about the desired like customer for this item. Also, like I will own what's influencing this is that I found slumber parties so stressful as a kid. So it's like, cause I'm an insomniac. So like going somewhere and not sleeping is not fun, but this was,
you didn't have the kit.
Wild item. Like I didn't have the confetti soap. Had I had the confetti soap.
Yeah, you really didn't. Like prepare, you didn't have your Magic Star washcloth.
I didn't have my tip sheet.
Imagine being like taking out the tip sheet.
Imagine like showing up at like a bachelor viewing night, and you're like, guys, I brought my tip sheet. Just like a super cash event.
Okay, so like my friends did have some of these, and so we had the Klutz. Like, do you remember the Klutz kits? It was like your nails and those kinds of things. And so, like, to me, going back and rereading, like, those sections, even the vest, like, I also wore a lot of vests. And I wasn't, like, an adorable child by that point. I was, like, kind of awkward. And, like, to me, this catalog reminds me of self-esteem culture of the early to mid-90s where, like, people told me, like, you look good in that vest. Like, the people who ultimately... Like, the people who do ultimately matter in your life, like, parents and loved ones and, like, cherished, like, you know, people who cared for you, like babysitters. But then you look back and you're like, this was self-esteem culture where it was like, we're trying to keep these girls in a way like still young, right? And still awkward and kind of like innocent. Like that's how I kind of read a lot of this content. And it's like, no, you don't know how to navigate a sleepover. So here's a toolkit. Or like, no, you don't know anything about clothes. Here's something that will kind of keep like years of attractiveness at bay. Like, that's kind of how it's like, you'll feel good about yourself. You won't look amazing, but like,
you'll feel
here
good.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's something very, it was like a counteracted like 17 magazine for me in a little bit. Like I got American Girl Doll magazine because I loved American Girl Doll, but like at the same time, I was also like, oh, I would like die to read, you know, YM or 17 or whatever. And I would do it sort of in tandem. And you look at like 17 and it would be like all about your period and about like embarrassing like yourself in front of a boy, but then all the American Girl doll like mimicked the same kind of stuff. It was like write in with your questions, and it was like I get really nervous like every time a teacher calls on me in class. Like, what do I do? And like for some reason, I took both of those things in as like things I needed to know about. Like I was not aware that the American Girl doll was like trying to keep me young because I thought it was so cool. Like they really did like a really cool job, like a really good job at like convincing me that like this was just as edgy or important as like the teen magazines.
Yeah. And I think like they also did through marketing or whatever, a really strong job of not only telling you to stay in your lane as a 9-year-old, like don't aspire to reach 17 when you're 9, but also like creating the lane itself. Like these are the things 9-year-olds care about. And here's how you can like be interested in that and not aspire to the next, whatever it is.
Yes.
Now, what was your splurge? Like if you had to or wanted to, because we looked at another catalog, an earlier catalog, which now I'm grateful was Bitty Baby heavy, which I didn't even know would be of significance for you.
Yeah, the Bitty Baby was so important to me. And I look at it now and I'm like I said, I can feel it like sends off something in me. But like looking at it now, I'm like, what did I want this for? Like, what was this about? Like, what was this about truly? It wasn't like, oh, Caroline loved dolls. It was, I don't know what this was for. Like, I do not know what my obsession with it was. I don't know if it first came from like, oh, these are half as much as the American Girl dolls, so maybe I'll just like throw myself into this and have a better chance of getting one. But like, I wasn't a doll person. I didn't like playing with them. I think it was just like a status thing. So, I mean, my splurge was obviously a Bitty Baby item because I feel like I had to honor, you know, all the things I didn't get. And like, I'm glad I didn't at the end, but the Bitty Baby wagon is $16. So I thought it wasn't a splurge. So I thought, you know what, I'll just take everything in the baby bag, the Sunny Day play set. So like there is all of this gingham floral blocks and an outfit and like a mini bear that had the same outfit on. And then you could also buy the bucket hat, I think. And then all the play blocks and just like that whole set, like Bitty Baby's out for a jaunt in her wagon. That's what I wanted.
This is so traumatizing to me. This is the one where it's like there are real babies in the bassinet. And it's like, what are we buying here? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah. Who is this? Who's in charge? Like, where's the adults?
Where's the parents? Like, is the baby being paid? Like, what's going on?
The year I definitely found out that like Christmas wasn't what I thought it was. There was the year after I got the American Girl locker. So like there was one year that I wanted the locker. It was $100. And my parents were like, absolutely not. Like, no way. Like you can ask Santa. And I was definitely on the verge at that point. I was like in 5th grade maybe. And I'm the oldest. So there was no older sibling to like get in my head early on. And I finally was just like, I couldn't really decide, but I put it on my list anyway. And it was under the tree. And I was like, Santa's real. Like my parents would never get this. So I was convinced. And so the locker I think was like a thing I was looking for, but I don't think it came till later. And that's like something I wish I came intact, that I wish I'd kept intact. But yeah, I realized the Bitty Baby was the thing I needed to have. This weird ass, like motherly
babies,
thing.
Bitty Babies.
Yeah.
All the babies.
Very strange. Very strange.
Allison, what was your splurge?
Well, I was just going to say, we do have listeners who are on a younger scale and they listen with their moms. And just to clarify what you were saying, like that confirmed that Santa was real for you, right?
Yes.
I was just like, Samantha was also like checking in with me. So,
well, that's because my parents said they definitely would never buy it for me. And I know that they didn't. So I stopped asking after that.
Story checks
No, it's
out,
great.
I guess.
So this catalog, when you mentioned that you were kind of like excited by the Molly Slicker, I didn't realize how much the cover of this affected me because it's a young girl reading Molly with her Molly in a Slicker. So my mother and I made her a rain outfit and a rain hat, but I always really loved like that look for myself. And now that I'm kind of looking again at the catalog, it's sort of like the Gorton's Fisherman meets like Main Street USA. But I love the rain,
it's
like
so
the nice
cool.
umbrella. It's a beautiful look, and it's incredibly expensive. The other stuff that I was really taken in on that I was like, I would drop a lot of coin for this. We're covering Samantha next, and I love her muff. Like, I love her winter
the
look.
muff, yeah.
The muff,
Iconic.
the jacket, and her Victorian valise, which she absolutely, like, it's like she's like doctoring on the Upper East Side. It's like, you don't need that, but I want it now.
Yeah.
So that's my splurge.
I'm into it.
Samantha's winter look is very Blair Waldorf.
100%.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
It's like Blair Waldorf meets True Beverly Hills.
And that bag is something that I would wear now. It's very funny to see, like, oh, right, this is how fashion, because there's also like a Molly dress with like ruffled sleeves that would look very cool now if like Draper James made it or something.
100%.
Like, it's very preppy. I love the winter look with the boots and the buttons.
Oh.
Iconic.
So good.
Like, it looks comfy. It looks nice.
It does.
Like, it looks like she's protected with like the right amount of wool, the right amount of gaiters. Like, I would drop $300 on that.
Love that.
Oh my God. I'm on page 31, and my item is actually a Samantha item, surprisingly. I'm getting her elegant velvet cape, not wool cape.
Ooh.
I want the velvet cape, which they say is for a special occasion. But I would wear this as, like day wear. I mean, to me, this is like the velvet cape is like Stevie Nicks energy. And that's what I want to welcome into my life for jury duty, for a walk down the street. At this point, I've been inside so long that I've lost all sense of tone or range of appropriateness. I read an article yesterday that said this is going to eliminate workplace culture of like expectations of certain kinds of clothes are appropriate for work. Maybe I'll take that in a different direction. So instead of everyone showing up in sweatpants, like I show up in this.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Thank you.
For sure. I love that. That's a really good one.
Thank you.
I'm looking through now and I'm like, did I not splurge enough? And now I'm like,
if you see something that you want to flex on,
I think, you know what? I like my Bitty Baby. I think I would have been really happy with it, but I also really weirdly loved everything about Molly except her Treasures and Collections set. And when it came to that, I preferred Samantha's. I liked her like 4-post bed and the little like washing thing. And I think if I were a real rich kid, I would have and I knew that it was a possibility. I would have just asked for the birthday present of all of Samantha's Treasures collection, topping like $300 and knowing that someone would be able to pull through. But I think I knew better. Better.
I mean, yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yes. So I think our last challenge was we were supposed to buy something for a friend.
Yes.
Where are you at with that?
So the dress I mentioned, it's Molly's birthday dress. And I really like it on the doll, obviously, but I think I like it most, like I said, in the American Girl doll, sort of like make their outfits your size or whatever. And I think I would buy the birthday sundress for my cousin Caitlin, who is one of my best friends, but also like as a kid, she's 3 years older than me and kind of like always knew which direction I should be taking my doll stuff in, and like would tell me like what all the older girls were asking for and what all the older girls were getting. And I remember that she really loved Molly's birthday set, which was like a picnic, I think.
It's like a nice little meal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, right. It's like her table and there's like a lot of like color, but it's also it's very 50s, which again is then 90s and is now very today. And I think that I remember her wanting the table and all the place settings, especially, but I also think she would like the dress. So I'm going to get her the dress.
Into it.
I love it.
Very into it. I think that's a great gift. It's not too late.
It's not too late. I know. And
never too late.
Right. I could just that's a pattern I should find and just like make it myself during this quarantine situation. Just put myself to work.
Do you make clothes?
No, I would learn. I assume I have enough time. I assume that by the time I get out, I could be like a famous designer if I really wanted to.
That kind of level of ambition, like that is such Leo energy, and I respect that.
Are you a Leo?
And I would tell you I'm not. I don't act like a Leo, but people in my life, Allison just rolled her eyes, would say that's wrong.
I merely moved askance and
Allison, what's your sign?
I'm a Virgo in 4 houses.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Sag Leo rising. There's no hiding.
No.
So
It's difficult.
So what did you go with?
So we have most recently been reading the Addie books, and looking back at these catalogs was kind of cool because sort of famously Pleasant Company and then Mattel got rid of a lot of the Addie accessories and a lot of the Addie components over time. Like they've stopped carrying them, which is unfortunate. And looking back, like a thing I've been looking at a lot is I love the Addie bonnet. So if I were to buy something for like a friend's doll, I would buy Mary the Addie bonnet because I also think it's versatile. So she could put it on any doll when she finally rescues them from their place of hiding at her parents' home.
Yeah, sure.
But I also love that this comes with like objects that would have been both like sacred and profane to her, like the coin, the gourd. And I think it's just like a nice, like beautiful little kit. And it comes with the cowrie shell, which is really significant and kind of a great Addie piece. I also feel like that hat could just go really well with like a lot of different outfits. And Mary has a really small head, so like it could fit her. So like I was trying to think of all the possibilities.
Do you think this is like wedding wear? Can I wear that to my wedding?
I do. I
also
think
you have to.
Yeah.
Wow. Caroline, please. You're taking this to a place. Like now Allison will like literally show up at my wedding with this and be like, surprise, something
Allison, do it.
New.
I have a friend who like they fit into their American Girl like jacket from teenage youth years.
No.
And honestly, like it looks really good. And the first time I saw it, I was like, are you for real with this? And they still had grin pins on it. They still had like the whole gear. And I think like enough people would assume it's like an ironic piece of apparel. It looks good. Like the costume has held up. So that's what I would get you. I would get you something that's kind of like evocative of our recent journey. Like now that I know you want the cape, I would get you the cape or the coat. Thank you. I also am like pushing you in a doll direction.
I like that.
Thank you.
You know, that's the story of great friendships. People push you to grow and will hopefully also buy you a jacket.
Yeah.
Mine started off in a really bitter place. I'll just say that. I was going to take my pick in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Because I was really triggered when I saw that you can buy board games because when I was around the age of getting American Girl stuff, I had somebody come to my birthday party who was like the rich girl in town, also the meanest girl in town. And she bought me Chinese checkers that I returned with my grandmother to Ames. This is a 90s story.
Yeah.
Ames doesn't exist anymore. And literally the woman was like, oh, this costs 99 cents. And she got it 50% off or something like that. Like long story short, this person spent 50 cents. And then came to my party and was mean to me. And my grandmother turned to me and was like, this girl is dead to me. So when I saw the board game, I was like, I want to buy this for her now and be like, just send it to her with no note. And it's like, let the real games begin. Like, let it. But it's like, in a sense, like that's where the pandemic has left me is like, why am I trying to write some kind of second grade wrong? Like, this is insane. So then I was like, okay, that's wrong. Don't do that. So instead of what I'm definitely going to buy is Felicity's Wintertime Entertainments for $22 for Allison because she ordered them as a child and they never arrived.
Oh, no.
So I want to right that wrong because it feels like a better use of karma than, you know.
Let her have her board games.
Stranger.
You can't get them. You can't get them. Like, that's the reality. Like, you can't get some of these weird things for less than like $60-$70.
Wow.
I've tried. It's hard. That AG eBay market is a challenge.
It is to find like really good stuff. I'm like looking now because I'm so curious.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm glad I stepped away from that. My first move. I want to blame Michael Jordan for that. I'm watching that documentary and it's like Michael
my husband
Jordan
is too.
He is like the pettiest person of all time.
Yep.
And I feel like that seeped into my core when I first began to read the catalog. So I'm glad I rejected that. But it is a wild series. I don't know if you've seen it or your husband's just watching it.
I haven't, but he has, and he keeps telling me like how crazy it is.
It's insane. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much, but it's insane. Yeah. So, I mean, wow. The eBay market is hopping. Maybe we should all be making some moves now for future retirement. I don't know.
I keep saving all of my like New Yorker magazines and like other things that I think will be like relics of this time. sort of Beanie Baby minded of me. But I figure like, this is, you know, if I haven't learned my lessons in the 90s, when am I going to learn my lessons? This is the stuff that in like 50 years, someone's going to need. So might as well.
Do you think, based on your earlier tweet, or people have sent it to us in the form of Instagram and Twitter, so I can't remember where it originated.
Yeah, Twitter.
About your COVID American Girl doll, do you think we would actually get American Girl will actually someday make a pandemic doll?
I think if American Girl keeps growing, I think like at the end of our lives, if it's still like a thing, we will see, you know, oh, this is from like 70 years ago when like when grandma had to buy all that Lysol. Like this is when grandma stopped like sharing sips of water with us. Wow. Yeah, I totally think, I mean, this will be sort of historic. Like this is kind of the most historic thing to happen since like 9/11, and maybe they won't, I don't know, that like that would be a really weird, there's no like, no, I can see them doing like a early 2000s doll that maybe like they're like an army brat or something. Like maybe they have a parent who's based somewhere, but like, I mean, there's really nothing huge in the last 20 years. So if they do like a girl from the 90s and then a girl from the 2000s, I assume they would probably make like a girl who lived through like a big global health crisis.
Yeah.
Is your selection of accessories, has it changed since your original tweet, or is it the same?
No, it would be exactly the same, which I think is important. So it would be a Nintendo Switch, a little Nintendo Switch, because everyone was playing Animal Crossing. It would be like a fake cast iron pan with like a bread thing in it, or like live yeast for sourdough. And then it would be like a little thing of Lysol wipes. And I think that would stay. And she'll have a mask. At the time, the jury was still out on face coverings. Now she will have a face covering for sure.
Wow. And toilet paper?
She won't have it. She won't have it. It will cost a lot of money, and it will be like the subject of an entire book where like they.
I was going to say, is that like her saves the day? She somehow like
yes, she procures like a 24 roll of Charmin, and that's her big one for sure.
Wow. I mean, I think that book, the series writes itself. I mean,
it truly does.
We should put you forward to the American Girl people and just be like,
where's Valerie Tripp these days? Like, move over. Like, I'm coming in.
Yeah. I mean, Hey Ladies is a great book. You know, you've already shown you can take this even further than you can go.
Maybe I'll do it for kids. Maybe I'll do like Hey Girls, and it'll be like an American Girl dolls parody situation.
I love it.
I love it. Great.
Yeah, they'll also have a whole book where they learn to like do a TikTok dance, and I'll be excited about that too.
I've just gotten into TikTok in the last week of my life, so you're really like,
it's hammering home for you. I love that.
I just watched a high school boy buy a human-sized hamster ball, and then blow it up with himself inside, and then attempt to walk on water by like rolling himself into a nearby creek.
Look, you know what? The days are long, and I'm just happy he's just distracting himself, not getting into any trouble.
The worst ones are teens who attempt to do like an HGTV makeover of their parents' room, and they lead with like, there's been this tragedy where they're like, my mom hasn't cared at all about her space since my dad left a year ago.
Oh my God. No.
She went out for a day, so we're totally redoing her room. And it's like, this woman sounds like she's been through enough.
She is traumatized. Leave her alone.
She doesn't need your weird mosaic painted wall, like
some
weird theme.
They just want to help.
They just want to help. Now they have cribs on there. If you search #cribs, that's really taken me back. And it's like teens giving tours of their rooms.
Oh my God. That actually sounds kind of fun.
It's good.
Okay. Maybe I'll get into that.
That's my fave.
Nice.
Wow. But anyway, we've gone on a real journey together.
I love this.
I
loved it. This was great. I just want to look through these catalogs all day. I like wish I
want to live in these catalogs.
I know. Me too.
Wow. I mean, again, I want to apologize for my bitterness about the board games, but I just want to blame Michael Jordan. I think that's fair.
I think that's totally fair. And we all have a story, you know. We all come with baggage in our little Molly plaid suitcases or wherever.
American Girl luggage.
Yes.
That I found from one of these catalogs.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I can put it in the locker.
Put in the locker.
In the locker.
Write Santa ask for, healing, and maybe he brings it, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. And we never know. Oh, the computer was something that was a big deal for me too. Yeah, you know what? Now I'm lost in this cap. Now I'm going to be convinced that I need to buy all of this stuff and like go scope it out on eBay.
You know what? I support you in this. Do it.
I
Like
do
whatever.
too.
We all have to be kind to ourselves these days. So whatever you need to feel safe.
Thank you. I
Blank
appreciate that.
check.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You would not be the first or last to send us pictures of like you with a recently acquired doll during this pandemic. Like
Perfect.
I acquired Samantha during the pandemic and she arrived in perfect form.
Oh my
You know,
God.
she went through like a sterilization process. So
Samantha truly does save the day.
Truly.
she does.
Truly.
I love it.
So do you want to plug anything? Like anything and everything you want? Go for it.
Yeah. I mean, you can listen to my podcast, which is called Gee Thanks Just Bought It, about the stuff that we bought that changed our lives. And if I had my 8-year-old self on there, I'm sure she'd be like really evangelizing, like, I don't know, the American Girl doll of today. But that comes out on Fridays, every Friday. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of, you can find me there. And the podcast has an Instagram and it's Gee Thanks Just Bought It pod.
It's excellent. I loved your jeans episode. I take jeans very
Thank
seriously.
you. Me too. I'm so glad.
Very life-changing.
Jeans
So
are
thank you.
important. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me. This was so
Yes.
much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you get a bitty baby.
I hope I do too. I hope, yeah, I'm going to get the bitty baby Bjorn and start carrying it around my house.
Oh my God.
Scare everybody else who lives here. No, this was fun. I'm literally off to bid on some bitty babies on eBay.
Love that for you. Love that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening to our latest episode. We really appreciate you taking time to share with us in your busy weeks and lives, especially at this kind of crazy time.
Yes, we really do appreciate your continued support, and we hope that you enjoyed our conversation with Caroline. After it feels like, much ado, we are moving on to queer icon Samantha Parkington.
I really can't wait for this. Honestly, I don't remember anything, but I'm so excited just to kind of dip into her world, see what's going on. Is she the queerest AG of all? Is she like a labor icon? Is she, God knows what? I really don't know, but I'm really excited about this.
Did Samantha throw the first brick at Stonewall, or was that somebody else?
Were her parents killed on the Titanic? Truly, I have no memory. I mean, maybe?
I think they're dead before her books take place.
Wow.
I think. But see, this is the excitement. It's like I have the book on my desk and I am ready to go. And by the time we reconvene to discuss Samantha, I'm sure we'll have lots more to talk about.
We will. I mean, at that point, I hope I'll be married. I mean, I keep misjudging it as we record, but I think by that point I will actually be married. And,
I think so.
Maybe I'll share some details of my pandemic wedding. We'll see. If that's of interest, maybe not.
I'm actually coming as Samantha to your wedding.
Excuse me?
With the chunky bangs. I'm going to get a Samantha Parkington
Oh my God.
dress.
Why don't you come as Kirsten and bring a raccoon and just make it that much, increase the stress level by 20 times, please.
I think this country could do worse than Kirsten energy right now. I'll say that.
That's probably
a
true.
Kirsten in the White House no longer sounds like the worst outcome.
That is really true. I mean, it's hard to even fathom what could be worse than what we have right now. But I'll give Kirsten, I almost called her Kristen. I'll give Kirsten a pass. Whew, guess I learned nothing. I'll give her a pass on that. So we'll see.
If people have Kirsten hot takes, aside from the fire she created or started, where should they find you?
You can easily find me on Twitter at Mary Mahoney123 and on Instagram at Mimi Mahoney. If people want to ask you all kinds of hot takes about Samantha and maybe what you'll be wearing or what you wore, past tense, to my pandemic wedding, where can they find you?
Yeah, if you're looking for up-close visuals of the long plaid early 20th century dress I wore to Mary's wedding, you won't see them on my Instagram. But you can follow me at Allison Horrocks, which is also my Twitter handle. And we would love if you would reach out to us at American Girls Podcast on Instagram and A Girls Pod on Twitter, which is also where you can find links to the Addie syllabus, as well as the link to continue to add to it, because we are very open to that and we will update it periodically.
Yeah, we really want to keep this going, and we're going to create other syllabi as we go on about other topics that we think might be of interest to everyone. So yeah, I mean, we really hope that you'll take some time and do that. And you'll also hopefully donate to Stagville and other worthy causes, like a lot of the mutual aid funds that are coming out, a lot of the bail funds, which are really important and, worthy of support.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.